All right. Welcome back to our show. I'm Mumbles. Uh got a few things going on in the topics, in the world today, as always, every week. Um Today I think we're gonna take on a little bit more of this immigration talk. Been a lot of it going on, as I know most of you follow along in the news and various outlets and whatnot. So I know that immigration is definitely on the top of minds of many, and more or less, more so, not immigration, um, because I don't want to get the conversation confused. It's not immigration; it's illegal immigration. All right, so we got some high numbers. I mean, reportedly, some sources are claiming numbers as high as 7 to 10 million illegal immigration added into this country in the last 3 years. So, I mean, you can see where it's definitely been, it's definitely raised the eyebrow of some and got individuals talking. With that said, I ran across the video that uh, it, it's Dr. Phil and Joe Rogan, and they're talking about immigration a little bit. Dr. Phil is more or less talking about an experience that he had recently when he went down there to the border. So that's what we're definitely gonna check out here, and wouldn't no, there's nothing else really to talk about. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to jump right on into this video. Let's bring it on up here. Y'all see it up here in the corner. Got Dr. Phil on the screen. What's up, Phil? As if I'm interviewing him. Talk back to me, nigga. What's up? What's up? Nah, maybe one day, right? Let us that's common folk ask questions. Hey, side note, I do be having questions. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, there's a video, a stream that I checked out the other day. It's some of you might know who Legendary Top Cats is. Uh, um, he did a interview, I guess you would say, but he did a build. There we go, with Taj Bay, uh, older dude, Moorish teachings. I've seen him plenty of years on the internet, probably over the last 15 years or so. I've done longer than that, 20 years or so. I've done definitely seen him in several venues, and of course, starting off with none other than Sonetter. Um, during the times that I used to watch, I was heavy on watching Sonetter. He definitely used to come through. He used to bring them through, and he used to spit some of that knowledge about Moors and the originality of the Negro to Americas. So anyway, between Top Cats, who definitely has some very good information dealing with American Negroes and originality to America, and between Taj Bay and his outtakes as far as the Moorish viewpoint and still American Negroes' originality to America. So you can imagine both of them talking, full of full of gems. So, but it was a long conversation. But we might react to some of it. Maybe I might go back and watch it again and pinpoint certain different areas that I found of particular interest, and maybe play those and then conversate about it. Get some individuals up here to conversate with me about it. Yeah, I think that would be pretty interesting. So anyway, again, not an interview, Phil, but at least you did an interview with Mr. Rogan there. So let's see what you was talking about, and let's get into his take on the border.
About what's happening at the border, with people coming across, and they know that they're coming across from so many different countries now. I think there's a distrust. Um,
Well,
and
rightly so. I mean, this is something that every president has agreed on. If you go back and watch Obama's speeches, you go back and watch Bush's speeches, all the presidents before us, including Clinton, have all talked about having a border, having a strong border, having a protected border. But this is a weird thing they're doing. They're just letting people come in, and the Red Cross is encouraging it. Different groups are encouraging it. They're giving people maps, showing them how to do it. This is crazy. There's a mass migration into America.
well, I've been to the border recently, and eh,
All right, so check it out. For some reason, my StreamYard is running an error with my Chrome, and because of that, it's just affecting the background. So y'all just gonna have to, stare at this little green screen behind me, and we gonna go ahead and do this video the way it's supposed to be done. So check it out. I don't need your background StreamYard. We just gonna go ahead and green screen this and make us a video because I got things I want to talk about, man. I can't talk about 'em until we watch this. Nah, I'm just bull. All right, so look, check this out. Let's go back to the video. Get my shared screen up. And even though I know nephew Salamander the Great is good enough to put this all, in context and put it back together and edit some stuff, but man, we don't need all that. Look, check this out. We're just gonna start this video from the beginning and we're gonna rock with it.
they're coming across from so many different countries now. I think there's a distrust. Um,
Well,
and
rightly so. I mean, this is something that every president has agreed on. If you go back and watch Obama's speeches, you go back and watch Bush's speeches, all the presidents before us, including Clinton, have all talked about having a border, having a strong border, having a protected border. But this is a weird thing they're doing. They're just letting people come in, and the Red Cross is encouraging it. Different groups are encouraging it. They're giving people maps, showing them how to do it. This is crazy. There's a
Yeah.
mass migration into America.
well, I've been to the border recently, and I I talked to those guards down there, and I'm telling you, I spent just a day down there, and I know there have been people that spend a lot more time down there than that. But what I heard down there was even knowing I felt like I knew a lot about it before I went down there, but um, I was shocked. As much as I thought I knew about it, I was shocked when I got down there.
And
Um,
it's funny
though,
that they all say
first off,
that,
the morale.
and that,
Um,
that everybody that I've seen go down to the border and that's reported on the border, they've all said that, what I'm saying, like until you get there, you can't imagine. No matter how many reports you done, looked at, how many news articles you done read or videos of other people who's done been down there, you done saw. Until you go down there and experience it and actually see it for yourself, it's a eye opening an experience. I've heard several people say that besides just Dr. Phil. Like it's serious down there what's happening.
among those guards down there is the fact that they're hanging in and doing as well as they are is they're turning into social workers. They went down there to be guards, and they say what we're doing now, instead of apprehending these people, is we're greeting these people and we're processing them and giving them money and resources. And it's interesting. You've been down there, right?
I have not.
Um, there are the Texas border guards, and they wear brown uniforms. And then there are the federal did by a brown uniform, you get arrested, processed, and sent back. If you get apprehended by a green uniform, you get arrested, processed, given a court date in 4 years, 7 years, or whatever, and released into the country.
That's crazy. So look, just break down real quick what he's telling us. What he's saying. Look, you have Texas guards working the border, and you have federal guards working the border, and it's like a known thing that's going on down there. That it's like if you get caught by the Texas guards, they shipping you back. They letting you know you're not coming into my state, not illegally, not illegally. But if you get caught by the federal government, you get processed in. Although you're still legal, you get processed in as if you're legal, as if you done something by the law. And then we all know what's happening after they get processed in. You're getting shipped to these different various cities, getting hotel stays, you're getting food, you're getting your kids are going to our schools, you're in our hospitals getting medical care. Everything that's afforded to the American citizen is being afforded to you, although you're still holding a legal status as far as citizenship goes. Um, yeah, that's pretty wild, Phil. That's pretty wild. So brown and green. If you on a legal and you on the border, you looking at them uniforms and you like, if I see green, let's go. If I see brown, I'm gonna leave town. All right. That's interesting. Interesting information there, Phil. Appreciate that.
So they run to the green uniforms and run away from the brown uniforms. Same job, different color uniforms. The green uniforms, they their court date might be 7 years. But if they run into a green uniform, they get processed, money, and they're into the country.
That's wild. And when did that start happening?
It's been going on for a good while now. Abbott, of course, has been taking some of them and bussing them up into different locations.
Yeah.
Instead of sending them back, which has lately been something you can't do. You can't send them back. So
they can't send them back now?
Well, I don't know what they're doing with them since this last thing that they just came up with. Um, in talking to um, in talking to the union guy who's head of the union for all of the guards, it was interesting. I asked him, "What do you need? What do you need down here to do your job?"
Yeah, to answer Joe Rogan's question that Dr. Phil didn't know at the time. Now, I do know the answer to that question just based off of news media, but the answer is no. No. Uh, Texas cannot send them back right now. That's one of the things that's happened because it's something tied up with one of their many lawsuits. Because again, Biden is suing Texas over the measures that Texas has taken to try to support or to try to secure its state. Okay. And which, that brings me to something else real quick. It's on topic, but just jump over real quick. Now, earlier this week, Joe Biden and Donald Trump went down to the border on the same day. It was interesting. But it was the differences is that Joe Biden went to the part of the border that is already being secured by the state of Texas, and they've been reporting very low um, crossings ever since. And it's amazing that Biden chose to go to the place where he's suing the state because of the measures that they've taken, but he goes there to show, his trip to the border. Like, why won't you go to one of the places that's a result of your lawsuits? The result of the wire not being able to stay up, or the result of the bogies having to come out the water and stuff like that. But that's different. Of course, real quick, Trump went down there and they showed clips of him down there. He waving at the illegals and stuff like, "Hey, it's funny, man. Trump a character, man. He made light of it, in the situation. Like, I'm standing on this side where you trying to get to. What's up? They love Trump, don't they? He's stupid. But anyway, all right, Dr. Phil, tell us about the union guy and what he had to say.
His name is Brandon Judd, and he said,
Judd.
"We don't need more money. We don't need more agents. We don't need new legislation. We just need you to let us do our job. We just need you to apply the laws that exist now, and we'll be fine. You don't need. We don't." I said, "Wait a minute.
That's a bold statement. We don't need no more money. We don't need no we don't need no more laws to be passed. We just need the laws that's on the books to be enforced, and we need the individuals who's giving us the orders of what's happening on this border to allow us to do our job. That's simple. They said let's start there, and then if that's not fixing the problem, then we can address needing more money and whatnot. Building walls. Right now, let's just do and allow them to do what is on the books for them to do. Sounds very reasonable. Brandon Judd sounds like a reasonable man over there working at the Border Patrol Union. Anyway, what else did he say, Dr. Phil?
You're telling me you don't need more money or more agents." He said, "No, just let us do our job. If you just we had in place a hold in Mexico instead of come over here. Just use the legislation that's on the books, and we're fine. We don't we're not we're not trying to keep people out. We just want to have a enough of a flow control that we know who's coming in. We're they're not these aren't bad guys that are trying to be mean to people down there. We just need to know who it is."
What do you think the motivation is behind the federal border patrol people letting people go? Like, whose decision is this, and why? Forget about whose. We don't know that, right? Why? Why would they want that? What are the benefits of that? Is it cheap labor? Is it people eventually that will vote?
Well, I think it's virtue signaling. I think
That's it?
they've taken this position that said, "Hey, we want everybody," and I get that. Listen, I'm very pro immigration. I just think it needs to be legal.
Yeah.
You need to go through the process.
Yeah.
It's a felony to enter this country illegally.
Listen to that. That's what a lot of people are missing when I'm hearing some individuals who's having a conversation on illegal immigration, and very few, but there are some that are actually in support of these illegals coming in. And yeah. And like I said, the ones who's for it just seem to, talk as if this is good. I don't know. Go ahead, Phil.
Signaling. I think
That's it?
they've taken this position that said, "Hey, we want everybody," and I get that. Listen, I'm very pro immigration. I just think it needs to be legal.
Yeah.
You need to go through the process.
Yeah.
It's a felony to enter this country illegally. And so, but they're doing that, and they're pulling them out of the water. They're pulling them off of the wall and processing them and giving them a court date that, because of our system, is sometimes 7 or 10 years. And then they're legally in the country. They've got.
Thank you, Dr. Phil. That's what it was. It's just, pointing out that it's a felony. All right. It is a felony to enter the country illegally. Why are we pretending as if what these individuals are doing is not criminal? All right. And if you ask me, it's one of the criminal activities that one can do that is at of the highest levels. I mean, you are committing a crime against the country. You know what I mean? Like wars have started for less. Y- But anyway, let's let's finish, Phil. Thank you for reminding the supporters of this illegal immigration that it is a felony that is being committed by these individuals. Appreciate you.
Papers, they can say, no, I was processed at the border. They're just not coming through the ports of entry.
Right, but you're aware that this is happening all over the world, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think the motivation? There's got to be some sort of a decision that's been made to allow this to happen, or to not stop it from happening, or to encourage it to happen. It's not like this is like a spontaneous, organic movement. People just decide to move to Europe, and people just decide to move to America. It seems like it's something coordinated, right?
Well, look at it this way. You look at California, for example. And I, I said in We've Got Issues, I talk about 10 principles for healthy society. And one is you don't reward bad behavior. We've got people that we know are lawbreakers if they're coming in illegally. And so what do we expect them to do once they get here?
Man, say that. That is what I'm saying right there. You are starting off illegal. You are starting off breaking the law. And then we're supposed to expect that we're supposed to think that you're going to come here and then have a respect for our laws. Like that don't make no sense, man. Mm-mm. You don't respect the law enough to come in the right way. You don't respect the law enough to understand that there is a right way and a wrong way to do this. But we think you're going to respect the law when you get here. Okay. Man, I tell you, you know what? I used I ain't a big fan of Dr. Phil. His show. I'm not a talk show um person. In a lot of shows that came on, like I wasn't really into them like that, especially like the Jerry Springers and all them. That lost me there. But other than his show, I don't know much about Dr. Phil. But here over the past maybe 2 weeks, he's been like appearing in a lot of places. He's done been on The View. He's done been on CNN. Of course, you see him here on Joe Rogan. A couple other places he's done showed up and just been speaking his mind about different topics that's going on in current events. And the more I'm hearing him, and actually giving him a chance to, or giving a chance to hear more about him other than just his show, which, like I said, I could do without. But hey, the man pretty intelligent. Now I've heard that he's not really a doctor and all that. It's more of a TV thing or whatever. But whatever he is, he's pretty intelligent. I mean, he's laying it down. So go ahead, finish spin some more for us, Phil. Doctor that he is.
Um, and we're rewarding that behavior. They come in illegally. We reward it by giving them a free pass for 7 to 10 years because that's how long it's going to take for them to get a hearing. And you know how many will show up for that hearing? And most people would say none. No, I bet you they all show up for their hearings because it's been 7 to 10 years and they'll show up and say, hey, I've been waiting 7 to 10 years. The system will probably at that point let them stay.
Yeah, that's
They've
how
been
it
here
goes.
7 to 10 years. They've had children who are citizens because they were now born in the country. I bet you a high percentage of them show up for those hearings because they will predict getting a good result when they show up for the hearing. And they'll have American born children at that point.
Exactly.
So we're
Wonderful
subsidizing
ways to
behavior
gain
that
citizenship.
we don't want. We don't know who it is. And we've got uh, between, they tell me that between 2010 and 2020, they had about 11 to 1,500 Chinese come across the border. And in the first 11 months of 2023, they had about 33,000 come across the border.
Okay. Now again, Chinese. This is the Chinese he's talking about. I look at that you're talking about almost 3 times the amount of what he previously mentioned. Um, I thought they're selling us this whole thing about illegal immigration and stuff because people are either running from climate change, which that one makes no sense to me. I mean, we can go in depth about that, and that theory makes absolutely no sense to me. Because if climate change is affecting the country, affecting the world, it's affecting the world. So where you running to? What tells you it's any safer here in Ohio than it is down there? You know what I mean? So I don't know about that. Um, the other reason that they give is that people are fleeing these horrible war conditions and um war torn countries and things of that sort. What war is China having where you have all these, as they say on Fox News, military age young men fleeing to come over here to the United States? What war am I unaware of? I'm unaware of any war going on in China that has their cities war torn and desolated like a Ukraine or something. I'm not aware of this. So if somebody knows of a war that's going on in China that's causing all these Chinese men to come over here illegally, can somebody please point it out to me and show me where that's at? Because I missed it. I did. I missed it. I don't understand why they're coming illegally. If I wanted to go to China, there's no way in the hell you're gonna see me take a journey all the way over to China to go and enter their country illegally. It ain't bad enough for me here in the country in America for me to do that one. I'm not going to China illegally. Now, if my American government was paying me enough money and taking care of my family to send me over there to go do some, some American justice stuff that they want me to do, and I know my family taken care of, then maybe that's a reason for me to go there illegally. But other than that, I'm keeping my black ass out of China unless I have a legal means to be over there. I have the legal right to be over there, and I know that if something happened to me over here, theoretically, my country gonna come get me. Or at least if Trump in office, my country will come get me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm not going all the way over there illegally. So why are they coming over here illegally? It's not making sense. Ain't no war going on in China. Miss me with that bull.
Are you worried about that in terms of it being a military threat? Are you thinking these are people that are escaping a totalitarian, oppressive government and they want to be able to make their own money and live in the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Yes.
Both.
I think there are people that 100% want to get out away from the oppressive government there, for sure. And the number of military-aged men, now I'm just told by people that are at the border and have witnessed this themselves.
And yes, I did just hear what the man said. And I get that. However, that's not enough of a reason for individuals to be coming illegally. Okay. There's individuals who is in China who may not like living under the type of regime, the dictatorship that China has, or communist China and whatnot. They might not like that type of lifestyle and feel oppressed, and they may want to go and try life out in America. But they know there's a legal way to do that. There is nothing going on in China, no more going on in China that is going on anywhere else in the world that would justify them being able to illegally come over here to our country. That's my point. So, no, it's not that I didn't hear that people are living, oppressed type of lives due to their government in China, and that might cause people to want to flee China, but that's not enough an excuse to be allowed into my country illegally. No, doesn't work. But anyway, keep it moving.
The number of military-aged men that are showing up with military haircuts, clearly in shape. So these guys are showing up with six packs and military boots.
Right. Tell them, Phil.
That are coming in is not an insignificant number. Now,
It's
where are
not
they
an
going?
insignificant number.
We don't know. We don't know where they're going. We're not following them. We're not tracking them. And one thing I want to be real careful about, and I'm very sincere about this. I'm not. I don't want to say anything that causes people to feel badly or foster any kind of hatred
Hatred towards Chinese.
toward
Yeah, yeah.
Asian people in the United States. It's not the people; it's the government that's the problem. Um, I think that we've got. Uh,
And what he just said there, I mean, it needs to be said because we know how the media will try to, saying turn stuff around and make it as if we have an issue with Chinese people, okay, or Americans is racist towards Chinese people and everything like that, and that's not what this is about. Okay, we are having a problem in our country with illegals crossing our border and staying without documentation. Like he said, the individuals he's talking to are telling him that they're not even tracking them when they come into the country. All they're doing is giving them court dates that may be 5, 6, 7, 10 years from now. Well, if you bring me into court 10 years after the crime, we're gonna leave that one alone, man. But come on, y'all. Y'all know what I'm saying. You gonna bring me into court 10 years after the crime? You better hope that the individuals who are pointing me out in this said crime is like still around and able body and everything, because things change in a decade. All right, things change. All right, I might be an illegal 10 years ago, but 3 years ago I done had a baby. I gave birth. I'm a woman in that case, and I don't want to confuse nobody in 2024 and all that. But you know, it, in that case, circumstances has changed, and that person's no longer illegal. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, that doesn't make sense when you're setting court dates that far out and everything. Then you're not tracking anybody. But again, this is not about because I don't have no prejudices towards Asian folks or other than the normal stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but hey, some of the cat and dog it's been the best cat and dog I've ate in my life. So, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But other than that, I mean, I don't have no problems with people just because of where they come from and all that. That don't make sense. You from Venezuela and you from, all these different places. I don't care less. You know what I'm saying? Heck, to me, that's like faulting you because you ain't from Ohio. You know what I mean? Or more specifically, you ain't from my hood or whatever. So I ain't on all that. But I understand there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And right now, like he said, it's not the people, it's the government. The administration has purposely done this. Matter of fact, because I'm gonna keep bringing it up, we're gonna take a quick break from Phil real quick, and let's go back. Let's go back to Mr. Biden for a minute. All right, y'all, because I want y'all to understand. I want y'all to remember, because I understand that people's attention spans and memories are not great. We tend not to remember things that it's like our short term and long term memories just screwed in this country. Like things that happened like last week, and you talk to people about it this week, and they act like they forgot all about it. You know, like I was talking to somebody about the second spy balloon that just went over our country that they just now pulled down, and they said they're taking over there to, I forget what base they're taking it over to now, but either way it go, this is the second spy balloon. Now there's people that you'll have this conversation with that don't remember the first one. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so this is what we're gonna do here. Phil, I'm gonna ask you to take a little break. All right, and then we're gonna jump over here to, let me make sure I got the right one. 18. That looks like that's it. All right. Now, so that's it. But Yep, 18. Let's make it a full screen for. I got two of them up here to say 18. That's weird, y'all. That's weird. That's something else. You can't even see what I'm. All right, there we go. All right, so this is just a quick minute clip that somebody put together on X for us real quick. But this was Biden explaining what he wanted to do with immigration if he got into office. And this is what he said back in 2020. Now, here's what we need to take note on. He got into office. Yes. He implemented what he said he was going to do. Yes. 3 years later, here we are. Nothing else that they're saying makes any more sense to me. All right. This is not Trump's fault. This is not the Republicans' fault who don't want to vote for your bill for Ukraine to give Ukraine more money, and then you want to attach some stuff that might help on the border. You know what I'm saying, with the stuff that you just did. No, we don't want to keep playing those type of games. All right. But anyway, so let me bring them on in here. Y'all see the man up there standing next to Bernie Sanders during one of their CNN debates. And let's just go ahead and listen for a minute real quick and see what he has to say. And then we can get on back to Dr. Field, because I was kind of digging Field. You know what I mean? Pause. Yeah, I know how you niggas play. All right, look, check this out.
We can deal with securing the border by national technical means. All the bad things are coming through ports of entry right now. We don't need a wall. And by the way, I would immediately, as president, surge to the border. I would end this notion for the first time in history that people seeking asylum have to be in squalor on the other side of the river and in a desperate situation. They should be able to come to the United States and have a judgment made as whether or not they qualify. I would also surge to the border, immigration judges to make decisions immediately, and no one would be put in jail while waiting for their hearing.
Should undocumented immigrants arrested by local police be turned over to immigration officials?
No. In the first 100 days of my administration, no one will be deported at all. From that point on, the only deportations that will take place are commissions of felonies in the United States of America.
So to be clear, only felons get deported and everyone else has to stay?
Yes. We can deal.
Okay, now look, check this out. Y'all, some of y'all claim y'all still voted for this. All right. But you just heard this man and what he said. Okay. To CNN, to the American people, standing next to Bernie Sanders. All right. He wants to end remain in Mexico. He does not want them to have to stay out our country. Mind you, we're talking about illegals. We're not talking about migration or immigrants. Okay. We're talking about illegals. He don't want to keep them out the country. So you don't want to stop them from breaking the law to begin with. That's one. All right. Then he says he wants to make sure that he expedites judges down to the border to make sure that these people can be processed into the country faster. Illegally. You can't make this stuff up, man. You know, I mean, he's telling you that he wants to add to the population, and then this whole part that he says that he doesn't want to deport anybody. Then he says, well, we'll deport the ones with felony, the ones that commit felonies while they're here. Excuse me, they committed the felony when they walked their butts over the border. That's the first felony. So quit lying to us. They commit a felony, you're going to deport them. But you don't want to deport anybody, even though they're all committing felonies, by being here, period. See these games they play? Come on, man. Look. Games, man. Just games. I don't get it. I mean, I understand, because at the heart of it, you know what I'm saying, we dealing with some evil people. I mean, let's just be honest there. You know what I'm saying? So understanding evil to a certain degree, or at least understanding the motive behind evil, or to certain degrees can allow you to, at least say, okay, I get where this is going, or something along those lines. But it's still sick. It's sick because it's way deeper than just this immigration thing, and what they're doing with the illegals, and there's a whole list of things we can go down that's been happening over this last, hell, let's go back to 40, 50 years for real. But definitely over this last decade, that if I ain't gonna go there. I don't leave my Christian folks alone today. All right. I'm gonna leave y'all alone. All right, Dr. Phil. What you got for me? Let's bring you back in here. There you go. All right. Now, according to Dr. Phil, we still have a little ways to go. We making it through this, y'all. Hey, hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. If you're having a good time, share this. You know what I mean? Let other people come have a good time with me, man. We just gonna keep on doing what we're doing, man. Listen to the mumbles talk, man. If you don't mind listening to me talk, man, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, Phil, holla at me, man. What you got?
It's just like, if they are sending people over here that are military aged with an agenda, um, would we be naive to think that if we've let that many in, that they couldn't spread out across the country and, in some coordinated effort, attack the energy grid here on a given day and create havoc? Of course they could.
Of course it could.
And it wouldn't even take me.
Do you remember when that cop went rogue in LA a few years back? I don't remember what caused it, what happened, what
I
the
remember that.
situation was, but he just started killing people. He killed a bunch of people, killed a bunch of cops,
A bunch of
and then
cops,
they
yeah,
wound up getting to him
in the
near
cabins.
Big Bear. Somewhere up there, he had like holed up in a cabin, and they wound
Right.
up shooting him. Do you remember that story?
I remember exactly.
And he terrorized that city for as long as he was alive. He terrorized those cops. And a good friend of mine who knows a lot about the military world and the tactical world said, listen, man, it would take 10 dudes, 10 well-trained dudes, and they'd take over this fucking city. I go, really? He goes, 10 guys. He goes, 10 bad motherfuckers who are well-trained and well-armed. Do you remember the, was it North Hollywood, the bank robbery, where those crazy fucks showed up with bulletproof vests and machine guns and took over a bank and had a shootout with the cops on the street? It was insane. It was like a scene out of Heat. That scares the fucking shit out of me.
Well, it should. I mean, we should be afraid of that.
With all this defund the police talk, and then that happening at the same time. If you were playing chess and you were from another country, and we're so naive because nothing ever happens here. We try to imagine that it only happens in other places.
Listen to that part. That's very, very important. Nothing ever happens here in the context of what he's putting this. All right. This stuff that we're seeing happening in this country, you know what I'm saying, is not normal. This is stuff we used to watch in the 90s back on TV, man, and third world nations and stuff like that, for the most part, even the criminals in our country got respect for the law enforcement to a certain degree. You know what I mean? That's why you got so many niggas that run from the police. They ain't running because they, they ain't really sitting there, saying like, oh man, we gonna beat up on the cops or shoot the police down and all that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying you ain't got your random stuff that happens throughout the country. I mean, it's a big ass country, but to see it on the elevated levels that we're seeing it now, like there's not a day I can't turn on the news and I'm not seeing them highlighting some type of assault or something that's going on towards law enforcement that's quote unquote coming from illegals, and it's not, and again, it's not only illegals when it comes to that too, because now it seems like it's being adapted into the culture, like it's being accepted. So now we look at places like Chicago where we're seeing like, we used to always see the quote unquote black on black crime in Chicago and the street gangs in the street, whatever. We used to always see that, what I'm saying, in our media and stuff. But now we're seeing more of a straight disrespect for the police and just a straight out, all out, we're gonna take over downtowns and the streets of downtowns, and we got our little teenagers out there wilding out and acting, very, very unruly, I guess you could say at the very least. And this is not the normal behavior that you were seeing out of American citizens. We still had a certain type of respect for each other and the law, and that seems to be going away. Like I said, what we're seeing on used to see on TV and stuff, and that's what Joe Rogan was kind of alluding to there, and I definitely feel him on that because that's real shit.
But we're part of the reason why it's happening in a lot of these other places. And if you were from another country and you decided to slowly amass a force in the United States, that's what you would do. And to see this happening, to see that no one is saying that might be a possibility that's not being discussed. I mean, I hear a few people like you saying it. Brett Weinstein said it. A few other people say it, but most people don't even want to even put it out there.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy. Let's be commonsensical here. How do I get on the Wi-Fi here? I want to show you something.
Jamie, can you send it to him? What is it?
This is from the border.
It's a video of the border?
Yeah, it's me talking to that Brandon Judd at the border.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that's where he went. I think this is what I seen.
These
Yeah, I
children
seen
that
a
are coming
commercial
in with
on TV.
someone that
Yeah.
says I'm their mother, aunt, uncle, or whatever. We have no way of verifying that.
We do not. We used to. Under President Trump, we had rapid DNA testing. That's been done away with.
Are they given money? These people that are released into the country?
So it's our taxpayers that ultimately facilitate the travel. But yes, travel is facilitated, and they are given all the necessities that they need.
But that could be a trafficker.
There's a very good possibility that they're being trafficked, that they're going into the sex industry, or they're being forced into the sweatshops.
And we know that. We knowingly are spending our tax dollars.
Listen, we have to understand how serious this is as a country. Okay, this issue doesn't matter. It doesn't care how you feel politically. It doesn't care how you feel racially. It doesn't care about any of those issues. This is something that is going to affect the country from coast to coast, from the north and to the south, east, west. It's going to affect. All right. It's already affecting. All right. We're seeing the subtle changes, but look at some of the stuff that they're talking about, man. And if we don't start taking this stuff more serious, like, well, what do we do about it? One, we gotta call out the individuals who did this to us, who purposely said that this was what they were going to do and then did it. And this is a disaster, man. It's a freaking disaster.
To sell children into sex trafficking. How under any theory
That's what it was.
is that okay?
I'm sorry to pause it again, but I mean, listen, these are issues that affect us all, man. Look at the things that this man on the border is telling us. How it's affecting the sex trafficking, elevated sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? And we know how much of that is really aimed at kids. When we talk about human sex trafficking, we know that there's a very large percentage of that is including and aimed at kids. Okay, just like as far as I know, this administration still has not said anything about the tens of thousands of children that have been missing, that have been reported missing at the same border that we're talking about, where they're coming across the border and there's verifiable contact being made that yes, they're coming across the border, but then they done went missing and disappearing. And these are like, it's not like they have any American citizen parents who's out here looking for them. Like, hey, man, where my kids at? Like no, these are just missing kids that done came across the border. And well, where they at? Like literally, where they at? Yes, this is something that is you have to bring in when you know that this is being done on purpose, and then you see the effect of what is happening, the things that's being allowed, you know, the elevated human trafficking and the elevated drugs and the elevated violence and the elevated population in the cities. This is what's being done on purpose, and you have to kind of like, if you will do this on purpose, I need to like really like question your motives. Like, what are you really trying to do? Are you trying to collapse the country? That's what that's what some people say. Some people might be on board with that. I mean, we know this is a complex country and made up of complex individuals, and you know, it hasn't always been right. So some people may support something like that, but I mean, I ain't supporting it with these motherfuckers. Ah, man, this is some crazy shit going on right here. Pay attention. Germany went through it a few years back. Yeah, y'all might not get that one. I'll tell it again. Germany went through this.
Okay, for us to be spending tax dollars to traffic children.
Holy shit.
Now, this is the head guy on the border. And I asked him when this went on a little more, we went in more depth. You know, you're on camera here, right? You just said we're spending tax dollars to sell children into sex slavery. And he said, yeah. I said, why have you not talked about this? He said, nobody's ever asked me these pointed questions, but I'm grateful that you're asking them now. That's how out of control we are down there. We are paying money to take these children and sell them into sex.
I'm gonna ask you, how does that make you feel when you hear Dr. Phil interview this man at this border, and you hear this man say that you are using your American tax dollars to literally fund human sex trafficking? How does that make you feel? That I know you already know that a lot of your money's going to Ukraine, and if you've done any type of back research on that country, I really hope you're one of the people who is after Biden right now, telling him that no, we need to stop all support for this, and we're not sending no more money this way. Um, I mean, I think I just got to kind of leave it at that for right now. But Ukraine is a sick place, man. I yeah, we especially when we get us a little panel on here, get some conversation. We might go a little deeper about Ukraine and some of the things that I've heard, seen, and read about Ukraine. And yeah, yeah, I don't. I'm kind of disgusted to know that any of the money that I've given Uncle Sam over the last, you know, saying year and a half has went towards funding anything dealing with that country. Now, I suggest you go and do your own little research, and you know, like I said, I'll holler at Pops and Salamander. Maybe we get a conversation going about it or whatever. But yeah, Ukraine ain't. All right, enough about Ukraine. Yeah, man, our tax dollars, according to this border agent union guy, what did he say his name was again? Judd. Nah, I'm sure we'll get it again. But according to him, it is common knowledge that the sex trafficking and everything is happening, and it's our tax dollars that's funding this whole thing that's happening down here at this border that's facilitating this. So I mean, that should make you feel a type of way, man, one way or another, y'all. Come on. Can we at least agree to protect the kids? We ain't even talking about no gender affirming shit, man. Just can we protect the kids from human trafficking? Can we start somewhere, y'all?
Slavery. They come in with these addresses written on their bodies, written on their arm, and we call up there and say, "Do you know so and so?" Yeah, yes, we're waiting for them. Okay, they'll be on a plane or a bus, and you need to pick them up. And I ask him, so some pimp or trafficker or whatever is picking them up there, and he said, "We are knowingly sending them up there for that. And
Listen
he
to
said,
that.
it's terrible, but that's what's happening.
Are you serious?
That's
Listen to that.
insane. That is insane. And there's no way of verifying if their parents they're going to or an aunt they're going to. There's no way of verifying it. And
I asked him, he said no.
now, what justification could possibly exist where they would stop doing the rapid DNA test? I mean, what possible justification would there
We
be to
hate
stop
Trump.
that?
We know the
It
answer
makes
to
no
that.
sense because if they find out, well, this isn't their parent, then okay, what are they going to do with the child? And so
Right.
I guess don't ask, and then you don't have the responsibility. But they're sending these children up there, and he's saying we're knowingly sending them into either a sweatshop or the sex industry up there.
Like I said, we hate Trump. That's the only reason that any of those policies were allowed to be reversed without any type of challenge from the American people. Okay? Biden got in office and he reversed, like he said, on day one, all of Trump's border policies, including remain in Mexico, DNA testing. All of these things were stopped. And like the man said, why would they do that? Only one reason. Could we hate Trump? So that's why those very good policies were reversed and the American people didn't say nothing about it. Nothing. Man. The boogeyman. We're gonna talk about the boogeyman a lot on our show. We're gonna talk about the boogeyman because y'all made it the boogeyman. We're gonna talk about the boogeyman. Because we also gonna talk about the devil. So while y'all scared of the boogeyman, hell, y'all chose to ride with the devil.
Has anybody tried to do an expose? Has anybody tried to follow the children?
Well, that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, has somebody gotten on the same bus or plane and see who's picking them up or who's not? And he said, yeah, that's happening. Why haven't you talked about? Well, nobody's asked this, and I'm grateful that you are.
So people are getting on the buses and planes with them to try to find out where they're going.
No,
he said they're not.
no.
Oh, I thought you just said
no.
yes.
I said, why haven't you talked about this? He said, well, nobody's asked this question, but I'm grateful that you are.
My God, that's so insane.
And that's just a little clip. We went in more depth about this.
And the numbers are fucking nuts.
Yeah.
This past year, it's been like 3 million.
Yeah. So we've got, I've then dug into what's happening with Chinese buying, the Chinese government or Chinese nationals buying farmland. And
all right. I think that would be a good place to let off for now with Dr. Phil. Like I said, if you want to check out the full clip here, we'll have Salamander leave that in the description as well. But it's on the Joe Rogan channel. And y'all know anyone who watches Joe Rogan, you already know he always has fire interviews. He keeps a lot of important people coming through and you know, Joe Rogan lets them sit back and kick it, you know, open up and had conversations. It seems like people usually are always comfortable talking to him. So, but yeah, like I said, I mean, a lot of people seem to be comfortable talking with Joe Rogan and stuff. So it makes for some good interviews. People able to be themselves. It seemed like. Get a chance, check them out. Check them out. You already know. All right, so like I said, that was Dr. Phil, and I wanted to, since we talking about this immigration thing real quick, and you know, sometimes some of you to hear me talk, I talk about how ridiculous certain media figures can be when covering things, and I ran across this clip of Joy Reid, which I. Hey, matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull her up real quick because I seen this meme where they was talking about her, and they said basically the caption says something along the lines of when you become the thing you hate the most. And let me go ahead and Stop screen there, and we're gonna go ahead and pull over here and see where you at, Miss Reed. One, two. You should be with this one here, maybe. Yeah, there you are, Miss Reed. Hi. All right. So real quick, let me bring her on screen. All right, there she is. So some of you already knew this anyway, because some of y'all probably watch MSNBC all the time and whatnot. But Miss Reed chose to change her hairstyle, and this is the hairstyle she went with. And they had, the internet ain't got no chill. They had a picture of her and Trump sitting next to each other, and they said, "Will you become the thing? Will you become the thing you hate the most?" And it was, oh man, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Anyway, so yeah, let's check out this little statement that she makes about immigration real quick, or about these illegal aliens and immigration in general. And after her statement, yeah, I definitely we're gonna have to go into this a little bit. So, Miss Reed, if you will, why don't you tell us what you got to say?
The United States has a population of north of 327 million people. Why do we need more kids? I mean, your party, Senator Tuberville, is the one screaming that 10 million immigrants, which I don't even know that that number even makes any sense, because it doesn't, have streamed into the country since Joe Biden has been president. And you're claiming that that's too many people, that if more people come into the southern border, this is some sort of crisis because we've got too many people and we've got no more space and we can't afford more people. But now you're saying we need more kids? Can you explain who's the we and what's the purpose?
I mean, you can just hear it in her voice. You hear when how she switched up there. Like, this woman hate kids. People like her. They hate kids. Then you wonder why our kids are under such attack by the same people that's in power right now. But she hate kids. Listen to her. Look, I'm gonna let her finish. I'm gonna let her finish her statement, because you think that you may know where this is going or whatever. But I mean, listen what she's saying. She.
You're also a senator from the state of Alabama. And what's the purpose? You're also a senator from the state of Alabama. God help the people there. Are you saying the state of Alabama needs more kids? Why does the state of Alabama need more kids? More kids for what? There was a time when the state of Alabama absolutely needed more kids because, Alabama was a slave state. And the mandate of the planter class in Alabama was for Black women to produce more kids because those kids were property and they could work more kids and make more money on their plantations. Are you saying the state of Alabama needs more kids because you think that those populations will include people who are maybe destitute and desperate enough if you kick out the immigrants like a lot of y'all want to do, and you could make them do the work that the migrants are doing now? Because that kind of sounds slavery-ish. Is the state of Alabama the we? And is that the why? I mean, you're also a white guy.
Like, so much virtual signals, so much, gaslighting and stuff. And I was talking to Pops on here a few weeks ago, and we was talking about the word racism and how it just doesn't hold a true meaning no more, and how people keep just trying to make everything. And it's women like this, individuals like this, who is a prime example of why I was making that statement. You know what I'm saying? Like she just keep on. It's like she's drawing the straws, just emotional straws. She's just trying to reach everything, right, to make her point, so she can support something that she already knows. Just like when she already knows in her head is wrong. allowing all these illegal immigrants into the country illegally and then trying to justify it makes no sense. Okay. She knows it's wrong. We know that she portrays a different person on camera than she actually believes, because I mean we all heard the clip of her when she was cussing out starting another effing war, when she was talking about Biden, when she after she was playing the clip of him talking about money for Ukraine, and then she another effing war, you know. So we know that you at least have enough sense to not believe the propaganda that you be pushing. You know what I mean? Just like this stuff here where you're trying to normalize allowing individuals into the country the wrong way as if this is the right way to go. I mean, what other crimes are we going to try to normalize in society next? You know what I mean? But let's keep on talking, Miss. I don't like children. Read.
Are you saying the we is white folks need more kids? Is this like a great replacement thing where you're concerned that there's not enough white people in the population versus the growth of the Latino population, the Black population, the Asian American population? And so the we is white people need to make white women have more kids, and that's the we and that's the why? Because it's a little creepy, a little Handmaid's Tale, don't you think?
All right. Yeah, you are creepy. Nah, that's with you. Look, of course, because the individual she's talking about is a Republican from Alabama, so she's going to try to pull the race card and he's a racist Republican. Is this why you want more white kids? And did you mean the white kid? Did the man say white kids, or was he talking about American kids? Come on, which one was he? All right. Now, on top of that, the whole context, which is what you started this whole conversation about, which is the illegals. 10 million illegals, or as the one statistic said, I think it was last month, where there was more legals, um, brought into the country than births that were than people gave birth in this country during that month. And that was the first. It was a big deal on the article because it was the first time that this has ever happened, according to them, that more illegals were migrated into the population than natural born citizens was actually born that particular month. Now, so yes, this is an issue. You see what I'm saying? Now, to try to conflate that against this man saying that, the Americans need to be making more babies and stuff. Nobody is against bringing immigrants into the country to help with the population or to do the various things that bringing a diverse population can do, like I spoke about earlier. I mean, look, nobody's against all that. All right. But it's the illegalness behind it. And you trying to say that us being against illegal immigrants is somehow means that we can't be for procreation in this country, or that, which I know you're really hidden agenda behind some of your words. So we can't be against, um, abortions and whatnot. But, you know, let's just keep it to where the conversation is at this point. You know what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter of you trying to make it to where either if you believe in the population of this country, you think that the population needs to grow, then why are you against bringing in illegals? Because they're illegal. That's why we're against it. They do it the right way, we're not against it. If they do it the right way, we at least know that they have some type of responsibility while being here. We know that the government officials have some type of accountability for those people's actions as well while they're here working on their citizenship. because when they mess up, it's a reflection on those government entities that were supposed to be keeping this in check. We're supposed to be doing their background checks on them. Supposed to be trying to make sure that they're not associated with terrorist groups, known terrorist cells. Trying to make sure that they're not uh working for intelligent agencies of different countries and things of that sort. These are all things that's tied into the process of immigration. And when you skip all that, you leave this country, you leave these streets that you and I live on and our children play on vulnerable. And that's what people keep trying to point out, is that right now, due to this 10 million supposed number of illegals, we are very vulnerable. So don't be shocked later on this year when we see something because a result of it. Okay? Let's just keep it right there. Now, back to the babies. This woman need to leave shit alone. Yes, we need more babies. We want more American born babies. And as far as I'm concerned, we want more Negro babies. Yep. More Negro babies. I want more Negro men with Negro women making Negro babies. Yep. And guess what? We American. We're gonna have that conversation later on too. Cause we American. We need to stop playing, y'all. Stop playing. First of all, we need to understand what it means to be American. Just because you're American don't mean you accepting the corporation of America. We don't have to be a part of the corporation of America to understand that homeland of America is different. All right. Let's just drop that gem for right now and understand that we got some work to do to make things right for the American Negro here. They keep on distracting us with all this other bullshit that's going on, and at the foundation of it still comes back today, because a lot of it is to distract from it. Why do you think the liberals took on this woke agenda? Okay, during a time where Negroes were starting to wake up again, started leaving the religions and stuff like that, and they started looking a lot like, back in the early 2000s or so. Excuse me. Um, it was kind of a runoff from the 90s, and we were kind of in a era that might have minded you of like the 70s, where in the 60s and the 70s, where there was like a massive awakening that was happening with American Negro, who was waking up again at the same time, realizing once more, hey man, we getting screwed. And we know how that ended, because they threw the civil rights on us and a bunch of other stuff that kind of led us to some of the broken families and things that we see now. But it seemed like it was happening again in the early 2000s, and um the whole woke agenda got taken over again. This time it was taken over by an organization that calls itself the LGBT, but that's a different story. We'll talk about that a little later. Um, so yeah, Miss Reed, I don't know. Um, maybe you had a couple children or something, and maybe they just made you bitter, or I don't know if you have kids or not, but trying to relate the two problems together and trying to make sense out of it don't make no sense, and it really just shows you as the person that you truly are. Um, when I seen this clip, I knew I wanted to react to it, because it's crazy that you on TV representing so many millions, and people don't even know what your heart truly like, because your heart evil, your heart wrong. You know it is. To sit there and say, to start another effing war right after seconds of giving such a dishonest report on something, as if you support it and those who don't support it are against the country, against democracy, or wrong. That takes a very evil person to do. That's why you get paid so much. Some people say hope is worth it at the end because I mean it's a lot of that going on in this world. You know what I mean? But you know what you got to deal with. And you'll deal with it on your terms. I'm sure. Rest of us ain't got to listen. I'm talking the rest of us. Stop listening to this bull crap. Stop looking at these people as if they telling you the truth, and you see what they is every time they show you. Quit, quit, quit turning a blind eye when you know they showing you. She ain't the only one. She just the one I'm talking about today. All right, let's get her up off our screen. I'm tired of looking at her. She's sitting here. You hate Trump so damn much, but you went and got his hairstyle. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. Something wrong with these people, man. What's wrong? That's crazy. And you look weird with it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she don't look as bad as she did. She did this one video with no makeup, no. And look, I ain't got nothing against women. Don't wear makeup. This and that. Hey, natural beauty. Do your thing, thugness, whatever. Everybody. But she look like she been through some things, y'all. She do. She do. And I'll leave it at that. You know, she look completely different than she do on TV when you see her with all that TV makeup on and all that. And I know everybody probably do. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, different enough to where I remember I showed my wife, she didn't recognize her at first. it took a while. It took a minute. Then when she realized, she like, oh, that's who that is. Like, I ain't playing, y'all. Yeah, I can't remember what she was talking about something wild that day. But can't remember what it was specifically. Anyway, you know, I hope you enjoyed your time, man. Like I said, we just did a quick reaction to Dr. Phil, and you know what? I ain't gonna let y'all go off. I ain't gonna let y'all off the hook that easy, man. Look, check this out. I think I had something else on here we was gonna check out real quick, and this is let me make sure I can find it. Yep, that's it. All right, so let me see. Let's go to that. And I think it was this, right? Rubber duck. Yeah, rubber duck, rubber duck. We got a rubber duck, yeah. All right, so I guess I can go ahead and put on screen while we talk about while I set this up. Do. What do I want to do first? There we go, y'all. Now we can go ahead and put on the screen, and this is just a little video. Now, those of you that's been on X/Twitter, you know, we're gonna make sure we call it X more and more, you know, just to give the respect, proper respect to the man who took time to buy the mug, and which I got a little bit more respect for, man. Look, that Tucker Carlson and Putin interview, for so many people, for so many outlets not to cover it, and and worse than not cover it, you had like your social medias and stuff who was actually like actively censoring it and chopping it and not letting people stream it and stuff like that. And I mean, and then I had, a platform over there where it's just like, man, ain't no, you go straight to it, click on it, play it, watch the whole thing all the way through, no problems, no nothing. You know what I mean? It, it's a dang shame. I don't know if he playing us or not. The whole world, everyone could be playing us. Hell, I got some theories about Donald Trump to be playing us. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about that on some other stuff too. Because I understand the whole concept that I've learned when it comes to wrestling about kayfabe, and with the type of connections and involvement that Donald Trump has with wrestling, with the WWE, and over the years, that's why the fans over there loved him so much because they recognized him so much from that venue. Um, the parallels is something to definitely take note of. and to understand that it is also something we can be in the middle of. And with that said, you always have to. It's kind of like we're in a situation like can't trust no one. So hope you trust yourself. Feel your gut, make the right decision. Um, what was I saying about that? I was saying before that. Um, I don't know. Look, so this is what I pulled up, y'all. Is we have this little video here that was put together about 9/11. Now, anyone that's been on X, and that's what I was saying is just I appreciate Elon for spending that money and making a real platform that's dedicated towards free speech and not censorship. Because that was a prime example I saw in real time where the other outlets was practicing censorship, and this one said, "Hey, I'm not going to do it," and didn't do it. So, thumbs up to you. Appreciate you. Um, this one's been popping up on X a lot. People have been talking about 9/11 a lot more here lately. Um, again, all these years later, we're at the same situation where it's almost like with JFK and stuff. It's like, who really cares almost again? But, there's a few of us out there that still like pay attention to certain things and still remember how that day was and everything. And still remember how the narrative was formed afterwards. And then kind of watched, how it really led us into some other bull crap that, got us into some wars and stuff that really didn't address what happened. And more so, those of us who lived through it, there's certain things that happened that we know. Like there's like, okay, for example, okay, I did not see a plane on TV hit the Trade Center until late afternoon. None of the videos that they showed us that that during the live TV, because you had to remember something, okay? The second tower got hit live, okay? By the time it got hit, most of us was watching on some type of coverage, okay? It was the second tower that got hit that made me leave work because we were sitting there watching the shit on TV because I I remember I was heading into work and I was listening to it was like U92 back then, it's still the same basically now in that particular city. And it's the oldies but goodies channel, I guess you can say. Even though most of the stuff they play now is like what I would consider my music, but I guess my music's considered oldies but goodies now. But anyway, so I'm riding into work and the two radio personalities, it was can't remember which two it was back then. Um, maybe Doug Banks or something like that might have been his name, and whoever was with him, with him, or um, I don't remember who it was. But anyway, they talking and stuff, and they was talking about this. They reported that plane just hit, or that they were being told that a plane hit the Trade Center in New York. Okay, now at first they kind of making light of it. They're making jokes about it, kind of like, how do you not see the tower and this and that? And they kind of thinking that it was like a small plane that hit and things of that sort. So mind you, this is the story. This is what I'm listening to on the ride in. I get I get into the building and there's a few other individuals there talking about it now too and stuff, and we're all kind of talking about it. So we get into the training room because a little backstory is the beginning of a job sort of. So we was in this like orientation environment, training and stuff. But anyway, so we get into the training room. We talked to the trainer and stuff about pulling, allowing us to pull the TV up in there and stuff. We didn't have smartphones, y'all. So he pulled the TV in. We was gonna be, and let's just kind of keep up with this story as we start the day or whatever, and he was down with it. So he put TV in there and we was playing. So we're listening and watching the story on the news when the second explosion hit, when the second plane hit. Okay. we all seen the explosion. We didn't see no plane. You know what I'm saying? Uh, the plane sightings and stuff like that came in a little later. You know, the most famous one I remember was the one where what's his shoot, the firemen, they were down there and then there was someone looking at the firemen and stuff, and then you heard the jet noise, and then all of a sudden the camera shoots up and you watch and it's looking at the camera up above. I mean, looking at the plane and it flies. Like, oh god, and it follows it all the way to the trade center, and the trade it hits and boom. You know, that was one of the first videos of the plane that I recall seeing. Um, but like I said, when we was watching it live, there wasn't no plane that hit when with that explosion. You know what I'm saying? Because that was some of the stuff that it was like, oh man, another plane hit. But you know what I'm saying? It was like we didn't see it really, but okay, that's what they said. And that goes to my point when we come to this little video clip here. Um, and you know, this is on Fox 11, and that might have been who that might have been. It might have been this chopper that was broadcasting to the country or whatever that most of us are. So when I was sitting in that, for example, when I was sitting in that training room and we was watching on TV, this is more than likely the broadcast that we saw. Okay, but yeah, I'll leave it at that, and we'll go ahead and hit play here. So, or the variation of it.
Wait a minute, is something missing here? With the camera zoomed in, now it looks like the chopper is arriving at the scene. Seems that we weren't supposed to see that wide shot, and that's because there's no plane in it. By adjusting the scale and position of every video frame, matching the speed of the airplane and working backwards, we can determine where the plane should be earlier. The plane should be visible for over 5 seconds. That's 340 separate images, and there is no plane.
Hey, this is Kai Simonson.
The camera op on board Chopper 5 was WNYW reporter Kai Simonson.
Well, I knew that the plane was coming in because the pilot told me. Well, the pilot said that the guy was flying really low, and he was heading for the tower.
The obvious thing then would be to point the camera at the airplane and follow it. Instead, Simonson zooms, and zooms, framing a shot of the towers. The airplane image enters the picture within one video frame. That's 1/30th of a second.
That day, y'all.
What are the odds of that? By the way, Kai Simonson is not just a reporter for Fox 5. He also specializes in video compositing. In 2001, he was advertising his services of green screen compositing, helicopter videography, and an Avid system. Exactly the system needed to insert an airplane in real time. What are the odds of that? In any case, check out what happens next. The nose of the airplane appears to pop out the backside of the tower.
We know
exactly the problem that could occur with live compositing.
You've seen this part over the years. We know we've seen that, and that's where that one ends. Which you know, it's a clip of a larger video. But we know we've seen that part that he was talking about there at the end, like that nose of the plane come out the other end of that building, because that was one of the first things that was pointed out in some of those quote unquote conspiracy series videos back in the day about 9/11 when nobody wanted to believe you anything when it came to 9/11, even though nothing makes sense about it. And that's the thing. Like nothing makes real sense about it. Um, Starting with the most obvious one over the years. You know, there has only there has only been 3 times in history that a plane crash has resulted in a plane disintegrating. All 3 times happened on the same day. That, what are the odds of that? What were them passenger planes carrying besides box knives that made them disintegrate? That would be the question I would have then. If it's possible for all 3 planes to disintegrate, then okay, my next question is what is it on them planes besides box cutters that allowed them to disintegrate? Okay. Now, the next obvious one, we go to the Pentagon. That's the video that you release? For real? And then that little blur, you want us to believe that's a plane. I'll leave that one alone. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, go look at it for yourself. Um, then we come down to the controlled demolitions of that day. Like who has not seen a controlled demolition on TV or YouTube or in person by now? You're going to tell me that those 3 buildings, even though only 2 of them were hit by planes, but those 3 buildings were not brought down by controlled demolition. Okay. So now again, it's sort of like with that video that me and Pops was watching last week with KJP. It's like even though you see something with your eyes, you don't want me to live in reality. You don't want me to live in reality. That's crazy. I choose to live in reality. All right. So, you know, I, being insane has never been appealing to me. So even going anywhere during near that path of trying to live outside of reality has never been appealing to me. It's not gonna happen. Um that 9/11 tape, man, yeah. We might have to find a full documentary, but y'all know there's so many of them out there, man, now. But that was just one I ran across that, you know, like he said, for anyone who hasn't thought about it directly, you know what I'm saying? When you watch that clip from Fox 11 from the news anchor, and, when you take in consideration of the time that he's being told, hey, there's a plane coming, okay? And from where he's actually at the time, he's zoomed out because remember, the first plane done already hit, all right? So he's up there, they're in the chopper. He's already zoomed out and showing us the wide lens view of the building that just got hit that's still smoking. Okay. So that's what we're looking at that time. Now he's saying that he was told that another plane is coming. Okay. And oh no, I'm sorry. He says that he was told by the pilot that the other plane was approaching and it was flying way too low and it's going to hit. Now, we see this professional news cameraman then zoom in to the building to where you can't really see nothing else but the buildings. And then, you can hear him talk. I remember back then, like, there's commentary that comes with that. All right. There's commentary that comes with that video that the person that did this video obviously left off. But during that commentary, you can hear him, telling you about this plane. Anyway. And then it hits. Now, like the video said, one, it didn't say this part, but one, it could have stayed zoomed out until the plane was visible, right? Because we know why are we looking at the building and not the plane. If the pilot is saying the plane is right there, plane about to hit, ain't your natural instinct gonna go to right over to the plane and follow that plane until it makes contact with impact with that building? Anticipating, oh my gosh, this is going to be the worst thing we ever saw. Oh, it really is flying low. Y'all look at this. It is not pulling up. Oh my God, this is going to happen, y'all. And then we see it. That seems like the common sense, logical thing that would have happened instead of him zooming in, zooming in, zooming into the building. And then finally the plane comes in with enough time to only hit one frame and then hit the building. And then we can see, this was on other videos that I've seen before and stuff. You can see that video's been digitally altered. You can see that plane that we see in that video in that one frame actually becomes more than one frame once you take it in the concept of after it hits the building. Okay, but within those 3, 4, 5 frames, you are seeing image imported into the frame. That's what that plane is. That's why you see the nose of the plane come out the other end of the building. Okay. That would not happen in no real situation. There's absolutely no circumstances in the world of any type of science that anyone can ever convince me of or that I can think of that would explain an aluminum aluminum plane hitting a metal steel building and that aluminum plane nose coming out intact on the other side of that very huge structure. There's absolutely no circumstances where that would be explained as something that we should see. That there's none. And you know what? If somebody can explain it to me, I welcome you to come on to our show and explain that one to me because I cannot see a reasonable connection. There's nothing that would make sense there. Okay, the materials don't match up. That plane is not intact. Any piece of that plane that's allowed to come out the other side of that building will not be intact. We can say at the very least. And it would not be big enough for us to see on camera still from that far away. No. Mixed up with the explosion and the smoke, no. Okay. And I've seen the documentaries on the building itself and how it was built and how strong and sturdy it really was anyway. So I'm gonna tell you, if a plane hit that building, it did not make the type of damage that it was reported to make, and it definitely would not have brought either one of them buildings down, let alone all three of them. It wouldn't have happened. So yeah, we still got things that got to be issued out in this country. Look, JFK, 9/11, January 6th, election 2020. We're full of things that keep happening that tell us things one way, and we can see with our own eyes that that's not how it happened, y'all. Stop believing these folks when it come to this bull crap. I'm out.